Hello student, today we will start the next part of the topic photosynthesis, in which we will see the mechanism of photosynthesis. Before going towards mechanism, there are different theories they are derived, that is, first is old concept. Previously it was believed that during photosynthesis CO2 splits into carbon and oxygen, and carbon combines with water molecule to form glucose, and O2 is, that is oxygen, is evolved as a byproduct. But this is, and CH2O represent carbohydrates. But this theory was debarred, and then in 1931 Van Niel proved that bacteria used H2S and CO2 to synthesize carbohydrates as follows: 6 CO2 plus 12 H2S as C6H12O6, that is carbohydrate, that is glucose, plus 6 H2O and 12S, that is sulfur. And this leads Van Niel to postulate that green plants water is utilized in place of H2S, and oxygen is evolved in place of sulfur. Next, that is Ruben in 1941 confirmed it in chlorella. He used water labeled with heavy isotopes, that is H18O. The overall reaction, that is chlorophyll, that is electron expel, chlorophyll original state, orbit, and chlorophyll electron, if electron goes to out, the chlorophyll is become positively charged. This is the photoexcitation of chlorophyll A. Now the oxygen evolved contain 18O2 isotope, thereby proving Van Niel's hypothesis that oxygen evolved in photosynthesis come from water. जो ऑक्सिजन फोटोसिंथेसिस प्रोसेसमधून बाहेर पडतो तो दुसऱ्या तिसऱ्या कणापासून नाही तर वॉटरपासून बाहेर पडतो, असं व्हॅन निएलचं कन्क्लुजन आहे. दिस लीड्स टू द करंटली ॲक्सेप्टेड जनरल इक्वेशन ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस, that is 6 CO2 plus 12 H2 18O in presence of light, C6 H12O6 plus 6 H2O and 6 O2 18. Now in 1937 Robert Hill demonstrated that isolated chloroplasts evolved oxygen when they were illuminated in presence of suitable electron acceptors such as ferricyanide. Ferricyanide is reduced to ferrocyanide by photolysis of water, and this is called as Hill reaction. Thus, Hill reaction proves that in photosynthesis, oxygen is released from water. Electron for the reduction of CO2 are obtained from water. According to Arnon, in this process, light energy is converted to chemical energy. This energy is stored in ATP, and NADPH is formed as hydrogen donor. This ATP formation is known as photophosphorylation, that is formation of ATP, adenose triphosphate, is called as photophosphorylation. For the Hill reaction, Robert Hill provided an experimental evidences that he isolated the chloroplasts from fresh spinach leaves and suspended them in beaker containing CO2 free water. He then added ferric salt as a hydrogen acceptor. The suspension was exposed to sunlight. He observed ferric salts are reduced to ferrous, that is, ferricyanide is reduced to ferrocyanide, and O2 bubble evolve. Thus, he clearly proved that in presence of light and chlorophyll water, water molecule splits and oxygen is liberated. That is, photolysis of water takes place and oxygen is liberated. This is called as Hill reaction or photolysis of water. Now, in modern concept, the process of photosynthesis is an oxidation and reduction process in which water is oxidized to release O2 and CO2 is reduced to form sugar. It consists of two successive series of reactions. The first reaction requires light and is called as light or Hill reaction, or it is also called as photochemical reactions. We already studied in first lecture. While second reaction does not require light and is called as dark or Blackman reaction. Dark reaction takes place in stroma, while light reaction or Hill reaction takes place in grana of the chloroplast. And this reduction and oxidation or oxidation and reduction, these are alternative process going on to in photosynthesis process. So the photosynthesis process is called as redox reaction. Now, first we will see light reaction. Light reaction means it takes place in presence of light. It is also called as photochemical reaction or light reaction. In light reaction, solar energy is trapped by chlorophyll and stored in the form of chemical energy as ATP and in the form of reducing power to NADPH2. Oxygen is evolved in the light reaction by splitting of water. When a photon is absorbed by chlorophyll molecule, an electron is boosted to higher energy level. To boost an electron, a photon must have a certain minimum quantity of energy called quantum energy. A molecule that can absorb a photon is in energy rich excited state when the light energy or light source is turned off. The high energy electron return rapidly to their normal low energy orbitals as an excited molecules reverts to its original stable condition called the ground state. Now, it consists reaction center. The light absorbing pigments are located in the thylakoid membrane. They are arranged in a cluster of chlorophyll and accessory pigments along with special types of chlorophyll molecule P680 and P700 types of chlorophyll. While these are called as the reaction center, the P680 or P700 molecules form the reaction centers, or it is also called as photocenters. We already studied in last lecture chlorophyll A is called as essential center, essential pigment, while chlorophyll B and xanthophyll carotene they are called as accessory pigments. While in reaction center, P680 molecules or P700 molecules act as a reaction center or photocenters. The accessory pigments and their chlorophyll molecules harvest solar energy or they catch the solar energy and pass into on the reaction centers. That is, they transfer this energy, absorbed energy to the chlorophyll A, that is reaction center. These are called as light harvesting or antenna molecules. They function to absorb the light energy which they transmit to reaction center where photochemical act occurs. Now, photosystem 1 and 2. There are photosystem 1 and 2, that is also called as PS1 and PS2. A group of chlorophyll pigment consisting of a reaction center and accessory pigment is called as pigment cell system or photosystem. We already studied, that is PS1, that is P680 and P700 molecule. They are called as PS1 and PS2. The what is meant by pigment system or photosystem? Photosystem means the reaction center, that is chlorophyll A, and other accessory pigments, that is chlorophyll B, C, D, E, F, while xanthophyll, carotenes, they all are from the photosystem, but in which P680 and P700 molecule, they are present as a reaction center, that known as photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. The thylakoid membrane of chloroplast have two kinds of photosystem, as photosystem 1 PS1 and photosystem 2 PS2. Chlorophyll and accessory pigments capture light energy over larger area and pass it on to the photocenters. Thus, a photon absorbed anywhere in the harvesting zone of P680 center can pass its energy to the P680 molecules. The cluster of pigment molecule which transfer their energy to P680 absorbed at or below the wavelength 680 nanometer. Together with P680, they form PS2 or PS1, that is photosystem 1. Similarly, P700 forms photosystem 1 or PS1 along with pigment molecules which absorb light at or below 700 nanometer. Now we will see first photosystem 2. This system brings about photolysis of water and releases of oxygen. In this act, when PS2 absorb light electrons and released and chlorophyll molecules is oxidized, the electron emitted by 680 PS2 are ultimately trapped by P700, that is PS1. That is 4H2OH plus and 4OH minus. 4OH minus to 4OH minus 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्सपेल होतात. इथं 4OH चे 2 वॉटर मॉलिक्यूल तयार होतात, ऑक्सिजन मॉलिक्यूल एक तयार होतो. while 4H2 overall reaction 2H2O O2 4H plus 4 electron minus. Oxygen is given out as byproduct by the photosynthesizing plants. Protons H plus accumulate inside the thylakoid, resulting in a photon-proton gradient. The energy released by the protons when they diffuse across the thylakoid membrane into the stroma against H plus concentration gradient is used to produce ATP. Now, photosystem 1. When light quanta are absorbed by photosystem 1, P700 energy rich electron are emitted from the reaction center. These flow down a chain of electron carriers to NADP along with the proton generated by splitting of water. This result in the formation of NADPH. Hydrogen attached to NADPH is used for reduction of CO2 in dark reaction, and this is called reducing power of the cell. Thank you.